Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Weather Fans Live here on Wednesday, the 3rd of June 26. Apologies for the short notice. I was originally going to go live on Saturday, but kind of slipped my mind. I've actually got something going on, so I don't know when I'll be back. If I'm going to be back in time for the live. So instead of rushing to get back, I thought I'll do the live today instead of wait for the 2 weeks for live. So yeah, we're just going to go through the live as normal tonight. So there'll be no live this coming Saturday, but we'll return back to our normal Saturday night in about 10 days' time, roughly. So yeah, what a week of weather it's been. I've had a week off on holiday, and it's been hot, very hot, and quite stormy. So we'll go through. Well, first we're going to go through the May and the spring stats for 2026. We're going to take a look at your weather pics that you've been sent to us on our Weather Fans Facebook page. And we'll take a look for the next few days across the UK, see if there's any hints of any warmth perhaps returning for the UK. And after that, at the end of the video, we'll go over to stateside, have a look at the Storm Prediction Center for any severe weather across the US. And also, officially 2 days ago was the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. So we'll have a look at the Atlantic hurricane, see if there's anything going on there, and also the Eastern Pacific as well. So a lot to get through tonight. About a second. A lot to get through tonight. Just quickly put my head into the chat. So good evening to Laura. Good evening, Mark. Just popping in to say hi. We'll catch up as I'm on Gav's member stream tonight. Hope you had a good holiday. Yes, it was very good. Thank you. The weather was absolutely glorious. I think you can't really tell, but more burner than I actually went with. I just couldn't wish for any better weather compared to what I had last year, where I had rain every day last year. This year I had thunderstorm. And also I met up with Gordon as well, had a little catch up because I was up his neck of the woods. Also, we've got Colby Taylor. Hi, Mark. I hope everything is good and hope your day is fab. It's been all right. I was at work at 6 o'clock this morning, so probably running on fumes at the moment for the next hour or so, but we'll get through this live. Good evening to dog training. Hope you're well. And good evening to my mate from Burton. Hope you're well, Chris. Hope you're enjoying. I don't know what you're enjoying. Enjoying life at the moment. I don't know. Cole was saying he had a great storm in Wakefield last week. There was some nice storms. I'm not surprised with all the energy around with all the heat we had. Thankfully for me, I'm not a great fan of the heat. I can just about cope with low 20s. One reason why I work in a chilled environment all day. But thankfully last week I was not suffering the high temperatures because I was on the far coast by the seaside. But I did get burned actually. My leg to my foot did look like it was what do you call it? Those lollipops, drumstick lollies. So yeah, I had a nice bit of red into white. Okay, so let's take a look at the stats for spring and May 2026. So let's bring up the screenshot. Yes, right, yeah. All right, let's put that onto there. Minimize myself so you can see the screen better. Let's take a look at May 2026. So let's have a look at the mean temperature for the 91 to 20 anomaly. So for the 91 to 20 anomaly, May 2026, across the board, really, apart from Western Scotland, was above average but we're talking about 2 degrees above average for much of England and Wales. From North Wales, northwest, so North Wales through northern England, it was about 1 degree above average. Parts of Western Scotland were around about average too. There's 1 or 2 spots there, and parts of Western Scotland were slightly below average. For the rainfall for May 2026, the 91 to 20 anomaly, it was mostly a dry month. Central England, past central England up into north east England were around about average to slightly above average, especially towards Yorkshire there. Scotland were slightly below average to around about average, and elsewhere in the country. So literally East Anglia was the driest of the driest part of the country. I did see a chart come up from, I think it was Met Office actually put it up, showing that I think about 20 sites. I think I might have shown it on our Facebook earlier on today, that about 20 sites in the first 2 days of this month recorded more rain than they had for the whole of last month alone. If I come across that chart, I'll bring it onto the screen a bit later on. The sunshine amounts. There we go. Sunshine amounts for May 2026. Well, Scotland was slightly below average, and much of England was slightly above average, and Wales were around about average as well. Southwest England, the borders of southern Scotland to northern England and Northern Ireland as well were around about average for the sunshine amounts. And let's have a look at the lightning strikes for May 2026. Well, no surprise really. Plenty around for May 2026. There were some big storms around, especially during the last. I think the majority of this was actually from the last few days of May. Well, obviously, with the heat. Why is it every time I go live cut, you want to go upstairs? Go on then. That's not Stormy outside with a big cat. Stormy is actually behind me on the window, asleep. So she's been quiet at the moment. But I digress. Yes, the majority of these lightning strikes were from the last few days before the heat broke down, before the Atlantic moved in. From May, let's have a look at spring. Let's have a look at the mean temperature for the whole of spring. So that's March, April, and May. And for the 91 to 20 anomaly, we always look at the latest ones when we look comparing. So spring 2026, across the board, was above average, part away from the Western Isles of Scotland and a few areas on the western side of Scotland. But overall, many places, or at least especially in Scotland, parts of Northern Ireland were a degree above average. Then in the next shade, more of a darker pink, we're looking at around about, sorry, I do apologise. I've set this a bit different compared to what I'm used to. The lighter pinks is around about half a degree above average. So that's parts of Scotland into Northern Ireland. The darker pinks around about a degree to a degree above, a degree to a degree and a half above average, and these darker reds, which covers the Midlands into East Anglia, across 7 counties and southwest Wales, talking about a degree and a half to 2 degrees above the average. I bet if that's going to be darker, look at that. For the 61 to 90 anomaly, were well 2 to 3 degrees above average. So it just shows you how much our climate's warmed in the last 30 years. For spring 2026, the rainfall is looking like this. So further southeast you are, the much drier it has been. Some areas shown here for the March, April, May put together. Some areas have received less than 30% of the average rainfall for the whole season. And the further northwest you go, the wetter it is. Parts of northern England there are just above average of the rainfall, and parts of western Scotland there are around about 130% above the average. But Alex Burkle mentioned on the Met Office Iran is complete flip compared to what we had during winter. So this is winter 25 to 26, where it's literally reverse. Much of England, Wales, up into north into eastern Scotland were wet than average, and western Scotland was dry than average. If we go down to spring, it's complete reverse of what we've just seen there. So talk about a clear pattern flip there. Right, sunshine amounts for spring 2026. Again, spring 2026 was above average. Many areas above the 125% average. And away from the Western Isles, everyone had above average rain. Above average sunshine for spring 2026. So it's been an exceptionally sunny spring yet again. And nah, I don't think it would. So that was May and spring 2026 stats. Right. Nothing else been said in the comments. We'll continue. So yeah, it's been another exceptional warm, sunny and mostly dry spring once again. So I think that's a run of about 3 years in a row where we've had quite a lot of sunshine for spring and less rainfall as well, and quite warm. All right, where do we go next? Let's head over to our Facebook and have a look at some of your pictures. Let's put it on. I was wondering whether to put the background on, but let's put the background music on. Screen share. So going back to last Tuesday, Liz put out the Met Office thunderstorm warning just as things was breaking down, giving you the risk of some thunderstorms across central areas of the country. And things did start to kick off around the, I think it was around the Leeds Bradford area. So that was radar from Colby Taylor. So nothing happening where Vicky was at lunchtime. That was from Zoe Carter. And that was to predict here that perhaps thunderstorms that could have happened, but some did break out. So let's see. So this is from Nick Livesey. Apologies if I pronounced your surname correctly. Lift off over the South Pennines looks like it might break the cap if it continues. Looks to be over Halifax way. So that was around about lunchtime on last Tuesday. And while I was in Blackpool, coming back from the seaside back to my caravan site, I can actually see the tops of these cells blowing up, even from where I was. So that was Liz mentioned anywhere along that line is possible where the cap could break. This is a time lapse from Miklos AD. Apologies about the pronunciation. There's a time lapse seeing these towers start to grow where he was. Just shows you how quickly these were blowing up through the day. This is another time lapse for this time from Zoe Carter in Wiltshire. I do love time lapses of clouds. It's fascinating how they grow or decay. So around about 2:37, Liz was saying there that the cap was holding things down so far in the UK, but there was one popping up towards the north of Normandy there. This is from Joshua Mail. Oops, did I just jump? So that was a storm around Sheffield. That picked up around about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's from Colby Taylor. His view of, I think, of that storm. I think that's James Crook showing us. I think that might be the top of that storm, actually. So there's that cell that was coming out of Normandy. Look at that from Colby Taylor. That storm growing. You can see how that's rising there. That's from Adele Blandford. Show the nice anvils that of a thunderstorm there. After watching those clouds rise, Miklos had that from where he was. And there's that cell. So Liz was saying I'm humming and hawing about whether to go out or not. It's a 3.5 hour trip for me, but to northeast. And Liz was saying, please show any which you've got in the area. So there was a nice cell there. There was also one to the east of Leeds as well. That's Colby Taylor. Showing what he had nearby. That's from Andy Stones, the view of what he had of these storms not too far away. And that was Gordon with an update on the storms around the Sheffield area. That was from Jacqueline Dixon from Nottingham. This is from Daniel Wiggin looking northeast out of Lichfield, the Central Midlands towards Burton. So that was on Tuesday afternoon. I was checking the radar when I was away. I did notice that from my area where I live, there was a few thunderstorms popping up nearby. So if I would have been at home, I would have been probably live actually. I would have seen some of these storms. That was from Ethan Whitford. Excuse the railway country. But starts to bubble up around Rugeley, Lichfield and Tamworth. So these what I would have saw myself if I would have been home. So look at those towers going up there in the Midlands. This is from Miklos. The call was closed, but we didn't get the most of the tense part of it here in Burton. Also missed the loudest lightning strike ever. People got shocked and thought it was a huge explosion. It's positive charged thunder, big flash and very loud boom. Not got any sound to it.
Well,
That must have got, after all that heat, that must have felt nice to be out in there. Again, this is from Colby Taylor. That cell just there. So I was asking if they seen the that's how the storm was that towards Sheffield, I think it was. This is from our own Laura. It's a very slowly moving here. Shame that the cell died. It was over Burton. Maybe a few miles south from me, but nothing here at all in Derbyshire. This is from Chris King in Wellington, in the Telford area. Oops, I thought I just jumped again. So you can really see those clouds building up there. Very nicely indeed. That's from Scott Terrell. This is the Swindon Cell seen from Knowlton. Oh, look at that. These are my favourite thunderstorms, the clear air ones, as I call them, where you can see them from miles away and just get the pure beauty of the scale of the cell. That's from Colby Taylor, feeling blessed with the storms. So where was that? So that would have been around Shrewsbury. Anyone under this looks very intense. I've been tracking this for a while. Moves east towards Cannockburn or the Litchfield area. So that was around Shrewsbury. That would be around about 5 o'clock on Tuesday. So yeah, there's the lightning detector which was shown there. A few cells around Sheffield, Shrewsbury, and one towards Swindon. And that was just to the northeast of Nottingham. Very active storm there. This is from Honey Hill in Northamptonshire. Something is brewing. There's indeed. This is some clouds die, but some become a thunderstorm. That's the time lapse from Miklos. This is from Kaz Evans in Telford. So that would have been the Shrewsbury cell that was saw. By the time we got to around about 5:30, there was a few cells breaking off around the Litchfield, between Birmingham and Leicester area. Some strikes around the Telford area. Look at that. Something brewing in Chester, inbound storm. That's from Michael Bonnet. Look at that cloud. Absolutely beautiful.
His radars, there is loads of thunderstorm activity that's now occurring across the country, a bit too far south for me at the moment, which I'm gutted because a lot of these cells now are punching through what was a cap, keeping the lid on. Now, when that punches through the cap, you tend to get hail, a lot of flash flooding. There'll be a lot of rain because these cells aren't moving very fast. They're flubbering around at the moment. And as Nick Livelis just said on Weather Fans, that there is inflow bands on one that's near Sheffield, which could produce a tornado. Any of these could do. There's so much energy that's available right now in the atmosphere. And with that being punched all the way through, then that could easily kick off into some supercells, big thunderstorms. In between them, it'll be beautiful and hot and gorgeous. But when you're under one of these, you'll definitely notice what's going on. Please be careful, take care, get lots of content, and make sure you share it with us on Weather Fans.
That's from the boss himself. So let's continue through this Tuesday because we've got a lot to get through. So I'll just quickly run through these. Thank you, Miklos, for sharing all your photos. Thunder in here now. So that was from Honey Hill Jones, Northamptonshire. So that's how I was watching the internet thunder. More of the cells there. This is from, apologies, is that Teresa? You pronounce that? We've had thunder and hail here in Shrewsbury. That was from Jake Anthony with the cells in the background. Look at them. Thank you for sharing.
Hi, lovelies. Potential storm over Shropshire. It's quite big, but it's not. It's very distinct growling of thunder towards my west.
Obviously, I won't go play this right now because I don't want to keep it going on live to about 11 o'clock tonight. Just skip this forward, see if we can see any more. Thank you for Cuz Evans for sending this in.
Not materialised yet, but I know it's still building, and I know all the ingredients are just.
This is from Paul Williams in Welshpool. So that's a rumbling a few miles east of Welshpool. This is from Chris King. A little storm passed through Wellington, Shropshire. No rain, just hot winds and lightning. And as I mentioned earlier on, with the heat that we had during that time, these thunderstorms must have felt like a godsend, making things could turn a little bit cooler. That was the lightning count from our Laura. Look at those beautiful images there. Chris Austin looks promising in Stoke-on-Trent. Oh, it's just gone. It's just jumped. That's from Wayne Baker over towards Nottingham. Look at that anvil there. This is where you sometimes can see the artists as well on the other side of these, which can be quite stunning. Round 2 for James on Honey Hill in Northamptonshire. One there, thank you for sharing, James. That was from Danny Spring. The storm to my west, currently the west of Milton Keynes, seems to be a little excited. Absolutely stunning, really stunning. Just to say for Manchester about an hour ago and about an hour and a half ago, this large cumulonimbus formed quite fast, heading southeast towards the Pennines. So if that would be part of the Sheffield storm. There's a lot of energy up there. That's in Guilsbury, Northamptonshire. Oh, that's a beautiful image there from Daniel Wiggin there. So I know Daniel's thinking Lichfield, so all of these thundertops I could have seen myself if I was at home. I wasn't, I was on holiday. I'd be on holiday. And back end of that storm that Liz is currently chasing in Guilsbury, Northamptonshire. Wow. This is from Southern Storm Photography. Wasn't able to chase today, but with watching a distance several away, this is time lapse of a cell that developed near Swindon. That is absolutely beautiful. Look how fast those are bubbling up. There's parcels of air just exploding into life. Thank you so much, Miklos. Positive charge boom captured sounds only.
Okay. Sure.
This is what my weather station recorded from a high with North Wiltshire. Storm lasted approximately 2 hours. So I'll just try and find the. So it's that. Try and find the rainfall there. Temperature at 27. I think is that the 24.1 millimeters. Maybe that's. Is that the temperature? Oh, there we go. 4.4 millimeters from that. Oh, there it is. There's your Martis I was mentioning about. It can look so stunning on the underside of these thunderstorms. I'm going to jump ahead of that because of the time. That's much Wenlock has even drawn to a close. So thank you so much for James. Beautiful lightning show going on right now in Guilsborough, Northampton. Look at that, shooting straight up there, but close. I'm just going to move forward a little bit. Thank you so much for sharing. We've got about 15 minutes. I think I'm still on Tuesday. Honestly, thank you so much for sending these in. Under the way, I mean.
Especially in the distance, you can see a rain curtain. Absolutely mint up here.
Also, I love the accents.
Get closer, I can feel the temperature change. Literally, it's had a storm. 2 miles, literally.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Literally, it's had a storm. 2 miles, literally just over there. I'm fucking crazy because I shouldn't be up here.
No, not the best place to be during a thunderstorm. Not the best place. I thought I recognised the accent down towards Bristol. Right. Let's see if we're going to jump ahead to Wednesday now. Oh, let's go back there. This is from Danny Spring. Look at those beautiful lightning shots there. Thank you so much for sending them in, Danny Spring. What do you mean it's not available at this time? I'm going to have to refresh. Oh, what's happened here? Go back to weather fans. Don't know why that's jumped. Let's quickly go back to where we was. Not too far down now. He says, well, you are joking. The screen's just gone off there. I think I will quickly run through these because it was actually more than I realised to go through. If you jump. So right, let's go let's go to Wednesday. So next day, when another thunderstorm warning out for parts of southwest England into Wales. That was released at, I think, pretty sure at lunchtime on Wednesday. That was from James Crook. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. So this time we had thunderstorms going up the west side of Wales, right up through the Irish Sea. And this is from Louise. This I think would have been from Tuesday, but look at the top of that cloud there. Again, beautiful. So yes, this was a cell that was running up the western side of Wales through the Irish Sea. And at that time, this was happening, me and Gordon met up as I was up his neck of the woods. Couldn't go up there without visiting him. So yeah, that was me and Gordon having a catch up. Then what did Gordon do a few hours later? He went on a storm chase. So these are all the lightning strikes that were coming out of that cell going up the western side of Wales. And eventually it did start to move inland. When I was in Blackpool at the time, I was actually watching the top of the cell from my caravan around about 10, 11 o'clock at night, watching the top of the lightning. But at the same time, Liz was on the way up to meet Gordon up towards near Lancaster.
Evening, guys. Doesn't look it, but like this bit of cloud right here is quite angry, and the way how it's moving, it was rolling itself. Really, didn't get it on camera, unfortunately. But yeah, goes on. It was looking like a bit of a shelf cloud half of a way. But yeah, we meant to be getting lightning out of this, so hopefully it kicks off. There has been quite a few flashes over that way. There has been beautiful clouds going over the mountains. It's grand. Oh, big chill. Big chill coming from this direction. Going that way. See you in a bit.
Thank you so much for Jake on that update. I'm going to quickly run through these. So these are some of the lightning strikes that was taken. This is from Jack March. Thank you so much for sending these in. I said, just going to quickly run through these. Honestly, Jack, thank you so much for sending these lovely images in. You've had one heck of a storm there, didn't you? So again, as I mentioned, that was the main storm that was going up the western side. And it was heading towards sort of likes of Cumbria. This is from Matt Wicks. So this is kind of similar to what I had when I was in the evening time. I could just see the tops of the thunderstorm in the Irish Sea. This is from Paul Williams. Oh, that was lovely. Thank you so much for saying that in. From Sam Riley. So that's from Colby Taylor. That was sent to us around about 11:30 in the evening time. Then by then I think I retired to bed. And the likes of Gordon and Liz were together, I think just southeast of Lancaster, ready to intercept.
People join.
That's from Northwest Weather Fan in Blackpool. I'm not going to play all that. So 21 minutes will past 9 o'clock. We've still got a lot to get through. Thank you so much. If you want to watch that video, please go onto our Facebook page and take a look at that. That's from Mark Mead. Thank you so much for sending that in. Let's go on passing Cleveland's. So that was sent in the early hours. I think that's right. I do remember I get woken up by thunder around about 1 o'clock actually in the early hours. I was that tired. I thought, please go away. I'm tired. Lights reporting near Kidderminster. This is at 1:45 in the morning on the early hours of Thursday morning. That's from Sam. A beautiful shot there from Sam. Oh, why have you done this again? Right. I think I spent too much time on this now. So once I have a look at more of the pictures sent in during that severe weather outbreak, severe thunderstorms we had during the end of the heat wave, just go to our Facebook page and just click into the images. Before I leave that, Gordon did actually do a video of when he was up on the, I can't remember where it was, but it was southeast of Lancaster. Excuse me. Southeast Lancaster. If you go into our Facebook page, it's featured at the top there. If you watch that, it'll show you what Liz and Gordon got on that night into the morning, because we were there all night into the early morning when there was another thunderstorm, which we believe actually turned mezzo. Actually, this went through about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, which woke me up as well. But I was live also on here as well. But anyway, I digress. Let's come off there. I think I spent too much time going through that. So thank you so much for everyone that sent in their pictures. Obviously, we had so many in. I haven't got time to go through all that. I've already spent probably about nearly half an hour just going through them as it is. So I'll put my head back into the comments to see how everyone is doing. Good evening to Audio Coffee. Oops, I was talking to my neighbour, but I made it. Not a problem. Not a problem, Audio. Hope you're well this evening. I've got a lot more time lapse to go through. The clouds have been so photogenic. They have, haven't they, during last week especially. I need to get myself a drink in a minute, but I'll probably do it after the live. Was there a supercell of Wiltshire last week? I'm not too sure. I've not really had a proper check. As I mentioned, I was away all last week. I'm not heard anything from that at all. Okay. So we've done that. So we've done that. We've gone through that. So let's have a quick look at the UK weather for the next few days. Let's bring up the facts charts. So obviously we've lost the heat now. The Atlantic's taken back over. I want to show you what's going to happen in the next few days. Oh, still got that comment on there. Let's go with that. So right now we've got low pressure in charge of the UK with this weather fronts. So this is the weather front that came through during the day, but behind that we've got some showers following behind. As we head into tomorrow, we've got this bit of a west-northwesterly flow. We've got showers coming down in that flow as well. Some of these showers have the risk of maybe hail and thunder again. Then as we go into Friday, we get a ridge of high pressure settling things down. But one thing we need to watch is the potential of this low pressure. It's not formed yet, as been mentioned by the Met Office, where it's a bit of uncertainty of how deep it might get and the track of it, because it's not yet formed. So as this weekend's a bit up in the air at the moment. There's going to be some kind of low pressure in one form or another, but how intense it could be is still open to question. So I'm just going to bring up the precipitation for the next few days. So plenty of showers right now. I'll just get rid of that banner. Plenty of showers around right now. That will continue through the night. Some of these could band together to give a spell of more persistent rain. And showers could be absolutely anywhere through tomorrow. Again, some of these could be heavy on thundery. And going into Friday, there will be less showers around. Because we've got that ridge of high pressure moving through. Then we just need to keep an eye on this weekend with how intense this rain could be, how strong the winds could be. There's still a lot of uncertainty. We could see quite a bit of rain perhaps going through for some, especially for some western areas. Just have a look at the Cape and lifted for tomorrow just to see. We will see much thunder tomorrow. Nice bit in Cape over Island today. So some through central northern areas as well today. So some of these showers could have been thundery this afternoon. Tomorrow, a bit of Cape down towards the southeast of some of these heavier showers. Also, southern Scotland, northern England, parts of the Midlands there. So some of these showers could be on the thunderish side. If you get caught in them, just be aware of that. And I said I just don't want to get too much into the weekend because there's still quite a lot of uncertainty. If I bring up the pressure charts. So what's causing the headache at the moment? See if I can flick this back across. Don't be awkward. Okay, be awkward. So we've got this. Get that off there. So we've got this area of low pressure, which is could interact with the jet stream in one form or another, but there's just uncertainty of its depth and location going into this weekend. And going through next week, we have no low pressure getting close, well, getting crossing the UK. Then as we head into the latter part of next week, we'll try to see high pressure trying to build from the south-southeast. Trying to keep these low pressure systems at bay. So a bit of a battleground because you've got high pressure towards the east, low pressure towards the west. It could be a bit of a battle there of which one wins out, and there's hints there where we're going to get the Azores high building up through the middle of June. Trying to settle things down as far as I can go with that. But let's go jump straight into the ECMWF weekly anomaly charts. Just refresh that, make sure it's not been updated since. No. So these are the ECMWF weekly anomaly charts for the 8th of June to the 15th of June, and that's actually has high pressure across the UK. Looks like the Azores extension there. So that's keeping things much drier. There is low pressure up towards the northwest, so perhaps the far northwest of Scotland, maybe parts of Northern Ireland, could see some rain at times. And going through to the 15th to the 22nd of June, high pressure moves a bit further east. In that flow, could be looking a bit of an east, maybe southeasterly, more of a southwesterly, maybe towards Scotland during that. The 22nd through to 29th of June has high pressure up towards northwest, lower pressure and towards the south. So we're looking a bit of a northeasterly with that setup there. If that was to come off, that's could bring in the weather in off the North Sea potentially. Then there's no real clear signal there for the 29th to 6th of July. Again, there's no clear signal for the start of July as well. Same chart, but this time looking at the precipitation. Eventually. Are you going to load up? Let's refresh you. No. Those precipitation charts doesn't want to load up. Try again in a few moments. Let's have a look at the 2 meter temperatures with the same charts. No, don't seem to. Don't seem to want to load, do they? Right, let's try one more time. Let's try precipitation once again. No, that's not going to load up. Well, that's gone well. Right, what we'll do next, we'll head over towards, let's leave the UK weather and head towards the stateside with the very latest. Computer says no. Yeah, I'm not sure if the website's just updating the fresh data, maybe. It's just slowing everything down. Right, let's go ahead stateside then and have a look at the Storm Prediction Centre. So this is for today. There is a slight risk for the likes of Sioux Falls, Fargo, Grand Forks, Moorhead and Aberdeen. So the summary, there's a slight risk of severe thunderstorms this afternoon and evening for northern Nebraska into eastern Dakotas and far western Minnesota. So thunderstorms with large hail, severe wind gusts, and a few tornadoes will be possible this afternoon and evening in parts of the northern plains. More sporadic occurrences of large hail and severe wind gusts appear possible across parts of central high plains and southwest Texas into southern New Mexico. So yeah, that's more of a hail threat today. Slight wind and slight tornado as well. Going into tomorrow, again we've got a slight warning from northern plains. The likes of Sioux Falls, again Rapid City, Gillette, Watertown and Brookings. The summary of that is severe thunderstorms capable of large to very large hail, damaging winds and are possible from parts of northern high plains into the lower elevations of northern and central plains Thursday afternoon into the night. More isolated occurrences of large hail, damaging winds appear possible in parts of the upper Midwest and upper Great Lakes. So that's day 2. Day 3. Again, we've got that slight risk there for northern areas. So again, summary, scattered severe thunderstorms capable of again of large to very large hail, damaging winds, and perhaps a couple of tornadoes are expected Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon? Well, yes, I see what day it was then. Friday afternoon into the night across portions of the upper Midwest and central plains. think Pomhead thought it was Monday today. That's why I got confused thinking Friday. Day 4, 5, and 6. There is, that's the very start actually, 15% chance of severe weather. So that's something they're going to keep an eye on. Jose's going into Canada on that. There is nothing for day 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it's for the next few days, really. I'm not sure if any of these storm chasers are at the moment, but I'm guessing some will be out chasing these. And finally, we're coming into the like hour of the live. Going across now into the National Hurricane Center. Brendan Kopic said he'll be likely to be chasing in Canada this weekend. Well, that's somewhat different, isn't it, compared to normally like Texas and Oklahoma and all them. And yes, chasing after spawn split screen. Thank you so much for that. Right, yes, it was the start of the hurricane season on, what day is it today? Wednesday's Monday. And still very early in the season. I think they expect due to the increased El Nino, it's going to be quite a season this year for the Atlantic. However, with the El Nino forming, which means the Pacific will be quite active, and we do have even though this started on the 15th of May, we do have our first storm, which is Amanda. So Amanda's out into the Eastern Atlantic. It's currently a tropical storm with sustained winds of 40 miles an hour. And it's due to dissipate by the start of next week. So not a major storm by any means, but we do have our first named storm of the season. I've got a feeling we're going to get quite deep into the letters this year. And could we get into the Greek alphabet is another question. But time will tell. Not just that, we do have a few watches. Disturbance number 1 is 57% chance of formation. So an area of low pressure is forecast to form offshore of Central America and southern Mexico late this week. Environmental conditions appear conducive for development of the system thereafter, and a tropical depression could form late this weekend or early next week while it moves slowly northwestward or northward. So the formation chance in the next 48 hours is 0, and the next 7 days is 50%. So by the time Amanda dies away, we could have our next storm. Another disturbance there, 30% chance of cyclone formation. An area of low pressure is forecast to form offshore of southern and southwestern Mexico early next week. Again, environmental conditions could allow for some gradual development of the system thereafter while it slowly moves generally northward. And 0% chance in the next 48 hours and 30% in the next 7 days. And how on earth I've managed to get through all that in an hour, I do not know. Just see if that charts will load up. No, it's not letting me load, unfortunately. So I can't look at the ECMWF rainfall or temperatures, unfortunately, this week. I'm watching the weather in Tennessee this week because of a group of my favorite YouTubers are heading for Dollywood. Dollywood? Is that something to do with sheep? I've no idea. Is that some kind of convention going on there? I'm not sure. Right. As I mentioned, there is no live this Saturday because this one I'm doing the live today. And I will be back in 10 days. So let's have a look at that be. So the next live will be on Saturday, the 13th of June. I said I don't want to not do a live this Saturday because I wouldn't know when I'll have time to the next one. So if I do it now, then at least there's not a huge gap between two lives, like over 3 weeks. Right, if you want to install me, it's just in the window behind me. That's asleep. Thank this is not causing havoc for a change. Dollywood is a theme park owned by Dolly Parton. Oh, never knew it ever existed. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much, and yourself. So, yep, thank you for watching this early live on Wednesday. Again, thank you for everyone that's put that. If you're watching on catch up, thank you for everyone that's put their pictures in. I will try to show as many as we can, but time was just getting on. Well, if I did it, I'll still be showing them right now about half an hour to an hour later. But honestly, thank you so much for sending those pictures in. We've had quite an active week while I've been away. And things are quieter, shall we say. Obviously, with low pressure in charge, a few heavy downpours and thunderstorms around. But nothing like we had last week. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week and into next week. Take care, and I shall see you in roughly about 10 days. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye-bye.